Happening now, first at noon, investors try to catch their breath after an absolutely wild day for Wall Street. The markets rebounded, but not to the levels they were at before President Trump's tariff announcement last week. The Dow Jones ended the day up nearly 3,000 points. And the surge was sparked after the president announced a 90-day pause on his reciprocal tariffs, but one country was left out of the plans: China. Erica Brown has more.
Hours after President Trump's sweeping reciprocal tariffs went into effect, he announced on social media a 90-day pause for trade partners except China.
I did a 90-day pause for the people that didn't retaliate, because I told them if you retaliate, we're going to double it.
Stocks surged with the news even as the president hiked tariffs on Chinese imports, pushing them to 125% after Beijing raised its retaliatory tariffs on U.S. goods to 84%.
China wants to make a deal. They just don't know how quite to go about it.
The president said he authorized a pause and moved tariffs back to an across-the-board 10% after hearing from more than 75 countries who want to negotiate trade deals.
We have just been overwhelmed by the response from mostly our allies who want to come and negotiate in good faith.
Trump's announcement comes after the European Union hit back with new retaliatory tariffs on more than $20 billion of U.S. goods.
Donald Trump is feeling the heat from Democrats and across America about how bad these tariffs are. He is reeling, he is retreating, and that is a good thing.
The White House says Trump's reversal today was not influenced by the stock market's volatility, saying dozens of countries are now pushing for new trade negotiations, which was the president's strategy all along. Erica Brown, CBS News, the White House.
Also breaking today, a federal appeals court has cleared the way for the Trump administration to fire thousands of probationary workers. This halts a judge's order requiring those employees to be reinstated. 24,000 probationary workers have been fired since the president took office. The latest now on a nightclub tragedy in the Dominican Republic. At least 124 people are dead after the roof collapsed at a popular venue in the capital city. Christian Benavides was there.
What started as a fun night of music at an iconic nightclub in Santo Domingo quickly turned into horror when the roof caved in early on Tuesday morning on top of hundreds of people. Rescuers have spent hours searching through the rubble of the one-story building, desperately trying to get to any survivors. This father, like so many others, was waiting on information about his 18-year-old daughter. Officials say dozens were killed and many more were injured. Among those who died was beloved Dominican merengue singer Ruby Perez, who was performing on stage when the roof collapsed. Former MLB players Octavio Dotel and Tony Blanco also died. Dotel started his career with the New York Mets in 1999. The team held a moment of silence for him last night. Nelsie Cruz, the sister of former MLB All-Star Nelson Cruz and a local politician, was another victim of the tragedy. Cruz called the country's president while still trapped under the debris, according to the First Lady. She later died in a hospital. In a statement, the MLB commissioner said in part, "The connection between baseball and the Dominican Republic runs deep, and we are thinking of all the Dominican players and fans across the game today." The nightclub owner says that he is willing to cooperate with whatever investigation may take place. Officials say that there will be an extensive investigation, but that for now, they're focused on the search and rescue efforts. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic.
Here at home, a measles case on Oahu involving an unvaccinated child has public health officials taking action. Governor Josh Green says the child is less than 5 years old and recently traveled internationally and is recovering at home. Another person in the same household is under evaluation for similar symptoms. Now, the virus is extremely contagious to anyone who hasn't been vaccinated or has not had the virus. Health officials say 95% of the population needs to be vaccinated to avoid an outbreak. Hawaii's vaccination rate is less than 90%, and it's lower on the neighbor islands.
If a case goes to those areas, are on our neighbor islands. That means they are a plane flight away from the only children's hospital we have in the state.
Now we don't know if that fever is a measles fever or anything like that. So I even called his teacher and I was like, I might have to pull my son out until he can get the second vaccine.
The Department of Health says anyone who was in the following places at the same time as the child may have been exposed. The Daniel K. Inouye International Airport on March 30th between 10:50 a.m. and 2 p.m. at the sea gates and custom and baggage claim areas. Also on April 4th at Terminal 2 departures, TSA checkpoints, and the gate for the Delta flight to Atlanta. Manoa Valley District Park's art class on April 1st between 9 and 10, and Queens Island Urgent Care on Kapahulu Avenue on April 4th between 8 a.m. and noon. If you're unsure about your vaccination status, you're encouraged to contact your healthcare provider. Just in today, Honolulu police are looking for a driver accused of hitting a moped in the Waipahu area and leaving the scene. Police say the moped rider was traveling in the right lane of Farrington Highway when he was rear-ended at around 11:30 last night. The 50-year-old man was rushed to the hospital in serious condition. Kauai police have identified the man pulled from waters at Kalihiwai Beach Monday as 74-year-old Peter Korenhoff of Kilauea. An autopsy will determine the exact cause of death. Foul play is not suspected. An electric scooter rider involved in a crash in Kalihi last month has now died. Police say the 54-year-old man crashed into the back of a car as it was trying to back into a driveway on Palama Street. This happened on March 11th. He was hospitalized in critical condition, but later died from his injuries. This is the 20th traffic death on Oahu roads this year, compared to just 9 at this time in 2024. On Kauai, the Lihue and Kapa'a DMV offices are closed today. It's to allow for more staff training. Both are expected to reopen tomorrow. Hawaii lawmakers have advanced several bills, including measures to legalize sports betting and to raise money to fight the effects of climate change. A House bill to regulate sports wagering passed out of the Senate with only 15 yes votes before being amended again in the House. The amendment clarifies the definitions of gambling and contests of chance, which would not be allowed. Also, a Senate bill to increase the hotel tax passed its third reading in the House without setting an amount for the increase. The bill would also add a new cruise ship tax. The revenue would go toward climate mitigation, environmental stewardship, and programs for sustainable tourism. Wild weather is causing destructive scenes from the Midwest to the East Coast. In Kentucky, some families are finally returning home after overflowing rivers inundated homes and businesses. The Kentucky governor says more than 150 people had to be rescued from the dangerous conditions. And so far, at least 25 people have been killed, including a 9-year-old boy walking to a school bus. And check out this terrifying moment for a Pennsylvania driver. It was all caught on film. Look as a white SUV is seen coming to a stop before a large tree comes smashing its back half. Thankfully, there were no passengers in the back seat. The driver is seen emerging from the wreckage and is able to walk away. CBS News reports that the driver did have some injuries and went to a nearby hospital after. Well, let's take you live now to Kilauea, where the show has paused again. USGS says episode 17 of the eruption ended at 9:45 this morning after about 36 hours of activity. Lava fountains averaged around 100 feet in height, with peak bursts of about 200 feet yesterday. And despite the pause, fog remains a concern across the islands. Let's send it over now to Drew Davis.
Aloha, Ashley. The good news is we've got the trade winds in store over the next 7 days, it seems like. So a little bit breezy out there, but this overall northeasterly and slightly easterly flow over the eastern half of the state is going to keep the VOG away from Maui County, Oahu, and Kauai. You can see that in our exclusive VOG forecast. This is courtesy of our friends over at UH Manoa. You can see as we're going forward, the overall VOG plume stays off to the southwest of the state. It'll start to get a little bit more moving towards the west as we're going into Thursday and Friday. Again, the winds are going to start getting a little bit more easterly on the back half of this week, but overall the impacts for Maui County, Oahu, and Kauai are relatively minimal. I don't want to discount that we're still seeing VOGgy conditions over Kona Coast, South Point, even seeing some lowered air quality over near Hilo right now. You can see from the Hawaii State Department of Health, the only area across the entire island chain that's seeing lowered air quality is actually in Hilo. Again, conditions will improve throughout the rest of today. I'll give you a further breakdown on this and show you our island by island forecast coming up.
Thank you, Drew. An eye-opening report today about the dangers for Hawaiian green sea turtles. Fishing line is now the leading cause of injury and death in stranded turtles. Hawaii Pacific University researchers looked at 10,000 stranding cases over a 40-year period. It showed entanglements have surged in recent years, now accounting for 30% of strandings and have replaced disease as the most common cause. Researchers say entangled turtles have a higher chance of survival if they're given help quickly. They also encourage fishermen to dispose of gear responsibly. Meanwhile, a rehabilitated sea turtle has returned home. Hawaii Marine Animal Response tells us Honu OA179 was rescued from a cove in Ko'olina after it was found with a deep fishing line entanglement around one of its flippers. The turtle made a full recovery at the organization's care center and was released this week. If you see a sick or injured Honu, stay at least 10 feet away and call the number on your screen. Hawaiian Host is launching a statewide search for one woman and one man to embody the spirit of Aloha to represent its most iconic product, chocolate-covered macadamia nuts. Now, the pair will be featured on the box as well as in Hawaiian Host's marketing campaigns. Each will receive $10,000 cash, a staycation, and a year's supply of Hawaiian Host products. Kawehi Kamakele has been the face for the past 13 years, and she says she's excited to pass the torch to the next generation.
The past 13 years has been such an honor for me to continue this legacy of this wonderful company, to make my family and my friends so proud of me, and to feel their love and support has meant everything for me.
The deadline to apply is May 4th. We have a link to apply on our website. What's Giving Day for the University of Hawaii? Casey Lund tells us how you can support its students and programs ahead on This Is Now. Plus, coffee is a critical crop here in Hawaii. How a new caucus on Capitol Hill will work to perk up the industry. We'll be right back. It's a big day for the University of Hawaii. Students, staff, and faculty are out sign waving for Giving Day. The annual campaign aims to raise funds to support students and important programs at UH. Casey Lund has the details from Manoa.
Aloha from a little rainy Manoa, but that's something folks here are used to. Though rain or shine, students, faculty, and staff showed up today for Giving Day for the UH Foundation. By the way, givingday.uhfoundation.org is where you can go to pledge some support, lift up not just UH Manoa, all 10 campuses across the state, the entire University of Hawaii system. We've been telling all those stories of students, programs, where that money goes when you donate. It's the second year for Giving Day, and we want to tell another story. I've got Jonathan Gonzalez with us. Thank you for being with us, my friend. Wrapping up grad school, a mechanical engineer. Tell me your UH story. You went undergrad and you're just about to finish up.
Yeah, so I started off as undergrad here, UH Manoa, mechanical engineering, and then now I'm doing grad school as a finance student.
So I want to ask you too. You know, we had some other students on. Awesome girl, Hemp Dang, who is an immigrant. Her family immigrated here first to go to college here in the United States. She was supported by the UH Foundation scholarships here at UH. What can you say about supporting the school, supporting the UH Foundation? It's impacted you as well. You've had multiple scholarships, right?
Yeah, fortunately, I'm a multiple scholarship recipient, and I'm glad to hear that it worked out for her. And not only for me, but her and many other students as well. It's been a life-changing, opportunity to be awarded such awards, and, it allows us to focus on our studies and, grow as a leader and, our opportunities to broaden,
The West Side kid, not a coolie, right? What would you say to a young person in high school, middle school, that maybe thinks college is beyond their reach, whether it's financially or they don't think they're cut out for it? What would you tell them if they're watching right now?
I would tell them to try to apply to as many scholarships as possible. It's good to try to broaden yourself or get yourself out there to, not only get as much scholarships as possible, but to try to network as much as possible, because especially with scholarships, it allows you to continue your academic journey. And I believe fully that anyone can go to college here, even if it's just like at a community college. As long as you're in the system, apply to as many scholarships as possible, you're set.
Let's stick it out. Jonathan, thank you so much for sharing your story, my friend. We appreciate you being here again. Givingday.uhfoundation.org. That's where you can go to donate. A great day here at UH Manoa. But again, it's about all 10 campuses across the UH system. The support greatly appreciated by students, faculty, and staff. We'll send things back into the studio for now. Guys?
Thank you, Case. Well, there's a buzz on Capitol Hill today. Hawaii Congressman Jill Tokuda has brewed up a brand new coffee caucus. Molly Martinez from Hawaii News Now's Washington Bureau has more on what it aims to do.
This isn't your average Joe. This is Kona coffee from Representative Jill Tokuda's home state of Hawaii.
Coffee has been around in Hawaii for over 200 years. It's our second largest crop that we grow. It's an iconic crop.
So an idea started to percolate, and from it came the Coffee Caucus.
Commerce side, it's the economic side. We have manufacturers, roasters, and producers throughout our country. We have growers in Hawaii and in the territory of Puerto Rico as well. We have got to make sure that we're investing in an industry that gives back so much to our economies.
According to data from the Food and Agriculture Organization and the National Coffee Association, the coffee industry employs about 2.2 million Americans and grinds out about $343 billion in U.S. economic activity annually. William Murray with the National Coffees Association says that it's high time lawmakers start counting the beans.
We have a voice here in Congress now for the first time ever.
It's bipartisan. Perhaps we can find some common grounds.
In Washington, I'm Molly Martinez.
And stick around. Coming up after the break, we'll walk you through our first alert forecast, breezy trade sticking around, and windward showers. The details coming up.
First Alert Weather with Drew Davis.
Well, happy Wednesday, everybody. Let's take a look at our First Alert Weather headlines. Of course, the main thing we're tracking over the next couple of days is these breezy trade winds. We're going to get a little bit more easterly by the time we get to Thursday and Friday. We're also tracking some windward showers out there as well. I want to give you a quick look at our hour-by-hour forecasts. Northeasterly winds around 12 miles per hour. We're also seeing temperatures right now around 79 degrees at the airport, so a little bit cooler than what we were seeing yesterday. 79 degrees, expanding this out throughout the rest of this afternoon and evening. We're going to be getting up to around 81, 80 degrees by 4 p.m., maybe a little bit warmer than that. And we'll be seeing slightly impactful weather throughout the overnight hours because of these windward showers we've been tracking. Again, we've got high pressure to the north of us. The clockwise circulation of air around it's giving us breezy trade winds, overnight windward showers as well. We also have a very, very weak frontal boundary that's actually giving us these windward showers. The moisture associated with this front is going to stick around through at least Friday. You start to see some of it creeping up towards Oahu and Kauai as we're going into Thursday. A little bit drier on Friday, but still some of the moisture associated with the front could give us some of those enhanced windward showers. Our winds outside right now in town out of the northeast around 12 miles per hour, a little bit breezier over other parts of the state. Lanai City around 24 miles per hour, Lihue around 23, a little bit more variable on Hawaii Island. And again, in our First Alert windcast, weaker winds overnight, still northeasterly, but you'll notice these are going to get more easterly throughout each afternoon. This is Thursday around 3 p.m. and easterly trades again pushing a lot of the fog over from Hawaii Island off to the west, really not impacting Maui County, Oahu, or Kauai. Our First Alert island by island forecast for Thursday. Occasional showers for the Garden Isle. Here on the Gathering Place, showers are likely, mostly cloudy. 83 in town, 78 in Kaneohe with a little bit more cloud cover out there. Isolated showers, mostly sunny and breezy at times. 84 in Kahului, 84 in Kihei as well. And over on Hawaii Island, scattered evening showers, foggy conditions. 82 in Hilo. Again, we were seeing lowered air quality in Hilo just a little while ago, and mostly sunny and breezy on the northern portions of Hawaii Island. Your surf and shoreline forecast, north-facing shores around 6 to 8 feet, east-facing shores a little bit messy out there. And here's your First Alert 7-day forecast. Nice weather going forward over the next couple of days.
Thank you, Drew. Still to come, a Nebraska nursery is debuting a first-of-its-kind flower. We'll tell you what makes these petunias glow in the dark in 2 minutes. Good news now. An Omaha, Nebraska nursery is debuting a first-of-its-kind flower. Check this out. They're selling firefly petunias, which give off a soft glow. They claim they are one of the first places in the country to sell it. Scientists developed the plant using natural bioluminescence found in mushrooms. Now, the nursery says the flower is completely safe and, like a normal petunia, needs about 6 hours of sunlight every day.
They're absorbing that light all day long, and then once it gets dark enough, they start glowing, mostly from the flowers, but also a little bit from the foliage. And it's a nice, like the stars that you had on your ceiling when you were a kid, it's the same green glow coming off these plants.
That's wild. Now, the nursery says the supply is extremely limited and they plan to sell out quick. So maybe you've done this, left something behind in an Uber or a Lyft.
But which state is most likely to have a forgetful moment? Uber tallied the numbers, and it's New Yorkers. Most forgotten items were keys, wallets, and phones, with 1.7 million phones left in the back of Ubers last year alone. More unusual items left behind: a chainsaw, a DNA testing kit, and a mannequin head with human hair. Not by the same person. So
that's an important note.
Yeah, I feel like the data for New York might be a little skewed because everybody Ubers over there. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. And those things probably, hopefully, Halloween related.
Hopefully around Halloween. I don't know why you'd have a chainsaw in Uber.
It is New York, so you never know, right? All right, everyone, thanks for watching. This is Now. We're going to have more headlines coming up first at 4 right here on KHNL.